Welcome one and all. Step right up and get your tickets for another moment in gaming history.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome officially to the channel. This is a series where I go into various different moments in video game history, and today, let's just say I found myself looking back at the arcade scene again. This time, I happen to be looking at a game called Robotron 2084, and its use of dual arcade sticks for a control scheme. But that got me thinking, is this the first one like this? What other games use this, and how far does this influence go? Well, if you know me, you know what I first found is probably not what I ended up with, so if you have a moment, sit back and hang out a while as we go into the first dual-stick shooter to hit the market, along with some of the others that came along the way that were heavily influenced by it. Now, the idea of an arcade stick and an arcade cabinet isn't anything new. It's the most commonly used mechanism for a control scheme in an arcade game. However, the dual-stick arcade design really wasn't as widely used. Probably the one most notably known for this is a game like Karate, that while awkward allowed for a shockingly vast array of moves using the two sticks in conjunction, almost 30 in total, which is impressive given the fact that you had no buttons to use on the cabinet at all. This wasn't the first though, not by a long shot, but if it wasn't, which one was it? Well, for that we have to go back, all the way back to 1975. Yep, you heard me right, 1975, and a small game called Gunfight. This was, as you might suspect, a gunslinging Wild West game that you would have two players, and yes, it did require two people to play, as there was no computer in this game. Contrary to what you might think, the right stick would move the player around the board, and the left stick would aim. Now, you wouldn't think for a dueling game you would need this level of control, however, this wasn't the case with Gunfight. You see, this game, the right stick allowed you to move your character around the screen, and the left stick allowed you to aim so you could shoot your opponent. The reason was they had various different obstacles and things in your way that you would have to avoid while trying to take care of your opponent. And I know the scheme sounds backwards, as most of us are used to the left stick being used for movement and the right stick being used for aiming, but you have to remember, this is 1975, and our usual conventions aren't in play yet. The next evolution is what happened with Space Dungeon. What this was a space shooter in which you're in command of a ship on a single screen, and yeah, look at it, it's a ship, it's going to be a UFO thing. Anyway, you would have to avoid enemies while moving around and shooting. Now, the fun fact about this particular game is when it was ported to the Atari 5200, it actually came with a dual stick holder. What I mean by this is the player could actually snap two controllers in and play in a similar fashion to the actual arcade, which is kind of a cool idea for the time, right? Now, this would proceed to be used in other games, like say Smash TV, which was a game influenced by The Running Man and RoboCop. It portrayed a dystopian future in which you're a contestant in a violent game show, shooting hordes of enemies who come in through various different doors in the arena. Killing the enemies would allow you to collect money, weapons, power-ups, and fabulous prizes! All very akin to the game shows in the aforementioned movies. The gameplay was again twin-stick. Focused as, well, you needed to be able to shoot in all different directions in order to be able to handle all the waves of enemies coming at you. It also made for a fairly awkward translation to the console market, as you would have to use the buttons to aim, commonly with each one of the face buttons mapped to a direction, with pressing up, right, left, right, down would be, all the different directions, and then up and right would be a, say, northeasterly direction, and down and right being a southeasterly direction, etc., etc., etc. Now, this wouldn't be the last time by a long shot that games would use this type of control scheme. Geometry Wars would actually go on to use this, as well as many isometric games would use this as an aiming mechanism. It wouldn't even be necessarily out of line to say that the popular dual stick layout we often use for shooters, and for just 3D platformers in general, could actually be linked to this as an inspiration. However, what do you guys think? Did you know when the first one actually got used in this? What were some of your favorite dual stick applications in video games? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, please leave this video a like, and if you haven't, consider following. That really does help my channel out a ton. Until we meet again though, have a great rest of your day, and until next time, happy gaming.